you're gonna need a 10 mil. I have a small wrench right here and a normal standard one. I went ahead and took off the timing covers first, or the cam gear covers. I did not take the accessory belt off due to me wanting to move the vehicle around if I'm working on another vehicle. So I did manage to take the back ones off, and in the front there will be a bolt that's kind of around here, so you can get a socket in there. So what I did was kind of just relieve the tension on the belt and the auto tensioner. As soon as I got that moved out of the way, I just went ahead and loosed the bolt, and that's how I kind of got it taken off. Other than that, that's pretty much the first thing you have to do is take that off. The next step would be putting them on TDC with the cam gear tooth marks and everything, and I'll show a picture of that once it's all done. Okay, previous video kind of mentioned that you had to take the cam gear covers. Go ahead and take off the intake cover or intake plastic cover. All it is just flathead little pieces. After you get all those, they just kind of pop off out of the way. Okay, before we get started, you're gonna have to take off the accessory belt off first. You're gonna need a 14 millimeter. I do have the serpentine belt removing tool, but I'm just kind of showing it as a DIY if you don't have one. Just use a breaker bar, 14 mil. All you have to do is push it all the way in there. Push it this way to relieve tension on the belt and just take it off. Other than that, I'll record the next one once it's off. Okay, I got the serpentine belt off. The next step you're gonna have to do is take off the tensioner. To do that, another 14 mil. It'll be in the bottom pulley side that you have to take off. I did buy another one already, so this one's trashed and it's making a lot of weird noises anyway. So other than that, I would just keep the bolts just to make sure. But yeah, like I said, just use a normal breaker bar, 14 mil, and get that taken off. Next step, ahead and taking off the tensioner. As I mentioned earlier, 14. And on the bottom of it, make sure you take off the 12 millimeter bolt. You'll be able to access this from the wheel well area, so you don't have to crawl on top and try to find where it is. But as soon as you get this taken off, these two, it'll just pop off. Other than that, next step. Alright, from the previous video, I got the serpentine belt auto tensioner. What I'm gonna have to take off next would be the motor mount itself. As you can see, I did a video on the motor mount replacement, but I ended up not replacing this one yet since I know I got to do the timing belt anyway. But I do have the brand new one. But 14s, and if I recall, this was a 17. So once you get those two popped off, we're gonna go ahead and take off this mount that goes to the motor. Other than that, next step. Okay, I got the motor mount and the bracket off. As I mentioned before, this mount was bad anyway, and I knew that already. But that's getting replaced as well. Here's a brand new one. Here's what it would look like. As you can see, more room starting up here. Next step would be to take off the power steering pump off. It'll be two 12s, one in here and then one in the bottom. That'll reveal the bolts that hold this mount. To get this mount off, you have to take off the bottom engine cover, or the timing belt cover. It'll be 10 mils, just kind of goes all around, so just kind of follow it. Once you get that off, you'll be able to take off that mount, and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, I finally got the pulley out. I would advise for anybody that does DIY to get one of these Milwaukee M18s. I've used similar in my other J series. I was actually just borrowing one back then, but I ended up buying my own, and this is the first time I'm actually using it just for this particular job. And as you can see, the worst fear has been taken care of. Ahead and remove the power steering pump. It's just two 12 mils, because there will be a bolt that holds this piece, like a wiring bracket, to the motor mount bracket itself that you have to take off. So this has to move one way or another. You do have to set the timing to TDC. For the back one, you'll see a notch on top of the cam gear. It's kind of hard to see it a little bit, but it'll line up to a notch on the block itself, as you can see right here where my finger is. You'll have a timing mark right there. For the front, you want to, it'll also have the notch right there, and then the timing mark right there on the back. See if I can zoom in for it. Here you go. Set that at number 1. Make sure you line everything up there. Now for this one, it'll also have a mark right here, little triangle piece that you want to line up right there. Just make sure you line all those 3 up. Once you line all of them up, you'll be able to take that bolt back off and take everything off. Water pump, tensioners, everything. Other than that, next step. First thing to get before you get the belt out, let's go ahead and remove the auto tensioner. It's 210s. Once you get that out, I just went ahead and took all the my apologies, the belt out. The next step you have to do is take off the idler pulley right here. These two, there'll be 2 14 mils, this one and this one. I went ahead and loosened them up. So other than that, you have to take those off first, and then you're gonna head and take off the water pump after. Kit, get the ASIN timing belt, water pump. My apologies. Got the Mitsubishi timing belt, Koyo pulley and tensioner, and you also got the ASIN tensioner as well. So far, that's everything you have to take off to access the old belt. Once you get all that done, I'll go ahead and show you the procedure on how to put it back on. I do Scotch-Brite the mating surface for the water pump. That's just me. Some people don't do it, and that's totally fine, but because I always put a little bit of a gasket maker in the surface just for that extra precaution. Like I said, you don't have to do it, but it's one of those things that I do it anyway. But once I get all that taken care of, I will show you a video of what it's supposed to look like. And we'll go ahead and go in reverse and reinstall everything back. Other than that, see you on a few. Went ahead and Scotch-Brited the mating surface for the water pump. I just want to make sure that do not use anything other than Scotch-Brite. All you're basically doing is roughing up the surface very, very, very lightly, just so the gasket maker has something to hold on to. Other than that, like I said, just use Scotch-Brite and sand it a little bit, clean it, make sure it's completely dirt-free, and then do your water pump. I went ahead and put all the pulleys, the tensioner, and the water pump. Basically, you're just doing the reverse process. Once you get the belt installed and tensioned and everything, you have to go 2 revolutions clockwise motion afterwards, and you need to double check all your marks just to make sure they line back up to TDC. If they do not, that means you have to remove the auto tensioner and reset that, adjust everything back over and redo the process. But so far mine all lines up, so I'll go ahead and put everything back on the reverse process. So far it's almost done. Installed. I did show a picture of the crank bolt breaking in half, but I did manage to get that out. So I got another one from a friend of mine, but I got everything installed. So it's a brand new timing belt kit, the timing belt kit tensioner, got a brand new motor mount, brand new accessory belt, tensioner. What else? Other than that, everything kind of went smooth with the exception of the bolt breaking. But so far I'm bleeding the system now, and I'll take it for a drive. And other than that, hopefully you guys do this. Like I said, it's not too bad. Just takes a little patience and time, and we'll get it done.